Hey guys, how's it going? Well, winter has arrived. It's you know 20 below with the wind chill, and we got snow on the ground, and I don't think it's going anywhere. So looks like we're gonna hunker down now for the next 4 months. Yippee! I'm not a big fan of winter. Never was. But anyway, it's here, so gotta live with it. Today's video is going to be on the Model A. I'm going to take care of that front fender issue that I had, tires rubbing, etc. And there's zero movement in the rear suspension. We're going to look at that as well, see if we can get that moving, freed up, whatever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the coil springs, if it's what the hell it is. But anyway, we'll figure it out. So that's what we're going to get after, and we might as well just get to it. So let's get after it, man. So, while I've been doing body work on the square body, I've also been stripping the fenders for the Model A. This one's done. I've got one little patch to do right here. That's it. The fender's in pretty good shape. Way better than what I thought. And we'll have to weld in a couple of washers here. That's where your headlights go. The other one, I haven't touched it yet, but I'm going to get on that shortly. And also been scuffing the paint on the rest of the body. So like I said, I've been sanding and stripping paint for days. On the front, when we do raise our fender up a little bit, this brace here, look at all these pieces of rubber. That's because this brace isn't exactly in the right spot to accept the fender. So plus it's just a piece of flat bar that's welded to the frame, so it's very springy, you know what I mean? It's almost like a leaf spring, really. So what we're going to do is, because the fender's even going to be even higher than it is now, we're going to build off of this, make the fender brace come up higher and extend it out to the outside edge of the fender, because the fender was twisted and moving all over the place. That's probably why, well, one of the reasons why the Bondo had cracked on the fenders. Also because it was half an inch thick, which is ridiculous. So we're going to work off of that. So once I get both fenders stripped, I'll put them in place, figure out exactly where they're going to go, make a cardboard template for underneath the fender, and weld it to this thing. And then we're going to maybe put a gusset in or something here to take the springiness out of the fender brace, and that should sturdy everything up and bring my fender up at the same time, and we should be golden. And then in the back, we'll get into it a little bit. I'm going to remove the bumpers and get underneath there, and we're going to pop out those coil springs and see what's going on there. We want to bring this up about maybe an inch, and that way front and back will line up, because if we bring the front up, it's going to look a little silly without bringing the back up as well. So just a little bit, I'm talking maybe 3/4 of an inch maybe. So we'll see what's happening there with that once I get it. I almost killed myself, man. This place is just jammed. Yeah, we'll see what's happening with that once I get it up in the air. I'm going to use the hoist to lift the back end, and then we'll put a floor jack under the rear axle. Once we build it up or bring it up with the hoist, I'll bring the jack all the way up to the rear end. We'll disconnect the shocks, and then when I lower the rear end with the floor jack, the coil spring should just pop right out, so without tearing my head off. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, there's stuff everywhere. I gotta get some of this stuff out of here done. So anyway, that's where I'm at in the Model A. We're just gonna keep on rocking. Okay, so here's my fender, and what I did was I made a cardboard template to get that curve, and believe me, it fits not bad. Anyway, took that, I transferred it to a piece of metal and cut this out. So this, I had it clamped on here already, like so. So we'll weld that onto there, but I'm going to make up more like this, a pair, so there'll be one on each side. It's going to come all the way out to here, and then we'll add some metal in, and that'll become our fender brace. So yeah, should work out pretty good. This is 1/8 plate, it's pretty heavy. So I got to cut out 3 more of them. I need 2 for each side. So it's slow going cutting this stuff, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. Got to have it, need it, gonna make it happen. So there you go. Okay, so I just have this mocked up right now. The brace is under there. You can see right here the 2 little pieces. These got to be trimmed off, so I'm going to mark them. I'll trim them off. Then I'm going to have a plate go across, join these 2, and that'll be my bolt location. So it's fairly close to where the original was. Just moved over a little bit. It'll be fine. You know, I've got it blocked up right now off the tire. Like you can see, there's a can in there with a piece of wood that's holding it up. I'm going to leave that there until I weld my gusset into the frame to give that bracket, take that springiness out of the bracket. And yeah, I think it's going to work out fine. Plenty of clearance, and we'll be good to go. So didn't have to do a whole lot there. Not bad. Okay, so this brace is welded up. Here's the gusset I was talking about. So it kind of notches around the frame. Probably better see it from the other side. Yeah, there. So, you know, it's L-shaped around the frame. It's welded up here, and it's welded on the other side. So, I mean, she is solid. I can move the whole car. I can rock the whole car with it. So, good and solid. There's the piece. I'll drill a hole through the fender and through here when I go to fasten the fender. I have tried the fender. It fits fine, no worries. So I just have to do same thing on the other side. I don't have to show that because I just showed it to you. So all our wheel tire clearances issues are fixed. We have some bouncy in the back. We have suspension, so I just need those shocks and the panhard bar that's dialed. So now it's just body and paint. I'll give my braces a shot of candy apple trim clad and call that done. And yeah, moving right along. So got a little bit of patching to do on the fenders. That brace is the first welding I've done since I burnt my eye with the welding flash. So I still have the other fender to finish welding up. And yeah, that's it. Scuff and prep for paint. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy, quite pleased, and moving right along. Awesome. Okay, so altogether, pretty much 2 days messing around with those front fender braces. Figuring out what I was doing, get it all done, cut up, welded up. A fair amount of fabrication for, you know, the whole braces to hold up 2 fenders, but whatever. Anyway, now we're going to get on that suspension. It's simply not working. It just doesn't move. So, you know, it's got to ride rough as hell. So we gotta free things up, find out what's going on. Maybe the leaf springs have been cut so much that there's nothing left. I don't know, but we'll get into it and see what's happening. So let's do that. Okay, so my plan to use the hoist to lift the car is not going to work. There's no lift points on this thing. The way it's built, there's no way of using the hoist to lift it up without it interfering with the suspension. I need the suspension to be able to free up and down once I get it up in the air. So I need a couple of long jack stands, which I don't have any. I have ones that come up about 16 inches, not high enough. I'm going to borrow a set off my buddy. He's got a pair. He's going to drop them off hopefully tomorrow. So we'll get it up as high as we can. Same plan though. Use the floor jack under the diff, unbolt the shocks, lower the rear axle, and the spring should pop right out of there, and then we can see what we got. Another issue, didn't notice before, but there's not much clearance here, and it's actually been rubbing. You can see a line here. I don't know if you can shows on the camera or not, but it's also been dented in up here. So it's been bottoming out on the body there as well. So even after we figure out the coil spring issue, we're probably going to have to do a little notch here anyway. There's plenty of room back there, so we'll have to C-notch that, give it some clearance for the axle to go up and down. Also, I did finish stripping the other fender. That's it there. So you can see got a bit of rust repair and some crap to fix up here. There was a ton of Bondo on these fenders, and I'm not sure why. I mean, there's a few dents, but you know, if you pound them out a little bit, you won't need so much filler. So while I'm waiting for jack stands, I can go ahead, remove the headlights, put the fender on where it's going to be. I may not even have to move that tab like I thought I did. I might have enough movement in the front to get to where I need to be, and then use a cardboard template under the fender. And like I said, I was gonna build off of this. So yeah, we'll see if we can figure that all out, and we'll go from there. So that's where I'm at on this, and we're gonna carry on. Okay, so we got her up in the air. I just put those small stands under the hubs just a minute ago. I'll tell you what I expected to happen. So I come over here. Oh. Okay, so I figured I'd pull the bolts out of the shocks, right? So the shocks are loose. Did that on both sides. I expected the shock to drop down a little bit, you know, because it should be partially under load, but nothing happened. Didn't move. So I lowered the differential, and nothing happened. Nothing moved. There's a total of 1 inch of travel on this whole thing. So there's obviously something binding or not working here. So I started looking about, and you know, I've got this point right here is an arm that goes up to the frame up there. That's supposed to go up and down, and part of the deal with that is it stops the differential from going also side to side. Now, if we go over here, I'm old and I'm moving slow here. Anyway, this is your link here. Okay, it pivots up here and it goes up and down, and that's fine. You know, that should work fine. But this actually travels at an arc, right? You've got you got a fixed point. So if you've got a fixed point and you've got something moving up and down, it's actually traveling at an arc, you know, part of a circle. So same thing with the other arms. So those two arcs, I think, are fighting each other, and that's why this thing is not moving. So it's a much bigger problem than I thought. I think I'm going to disconnect the two arms that go to the frame at an angle at the back. Make sure we secure the diff, and then I'm thinking I should be able to lower the differential no problem. So we'll see. It's obviously there's a design problem here, and we're gonna have to get to the bottom of it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Okay, so been dicking around. After crushing my skull in the bumper 37 times, I finally removed it, got it out of my way. I took the shocks right out, and that got me nowhere. So I put the shocks back in. They're just finger tight. I got to tighten them up. It's a real pain in the ass getting to the top bolt. But anyway, they're back in. And then I pulled these out. Those were those arms that went from the center of the rear end over to the frame. So I pulled them out. And as soon as I unbolted them and took them out, things started settling down a bit. It was actually in the air off the jack stands. And when I pulled it out, the jack stands, I had them underneath it, and it settled onto the jack stand. So it moved. So now, you know, I've got up and down movement. I don't know if you can see that moving. You know. But the issue is now is that as you're going down the road with this thing, because you just have the 2 points of swivel, the rear end's going to want to go side to side a little bit. So you want to stop that. So the solution is a panhard bar or track bar, which is just a rod with a couple of bushings, one on each end. It'll attach to the frame on one side and then to the other side of the rear end over here, and that stops the rear end from going side to side, and that takes care of the problem. These things here, you know, if it was a different design, maybe with Heim joints on the end, swivel joints, maybe it would work. But the way it's set up right now, the geometry isn't working. It's just binding right up. For it not to move with the force of those loaded coil springs just hanging there, I mean, you know, those things are like bombs. They've got a lot of force to them. I know one guy who, you know, 8 reconstructive surgeries later on his face because the spring popped out of there and tore his face apart. So, you know, it was seriously binding up, wasn't working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the shocks back up. I'm going to get it off the jack stands, get the wheels on it. I want to check the ride height, see if it's dropped a little bit or not. If it has, well, we'll address that. But if the ride height's the same and it's got some up and down movement, we're golden. Because I'm pretty sure with the widened fenders, we're not going to have a tire rubbing issue anymore. But I'm going to try it. So yeah, we'll put it all back together, check the ride height, and that's when I'll come back.
Okay, so got it all back together. The fender is just sitting on there, but you can see there's plenty of clearance, no problem there. When I had the shocks off, they don't look too good to me. I don't think they're doing their thing. They didn't really do anything. So I think we need new shocks. But you know, this thing didn't budge before. So yeah, it bounces a bit. Needs new shocks. But anyway, you know, we've got suspension. So that's the main thing. And I'm happy with that. So now it's just get after the body and paint. And when I get those parts in, we'll put it up on the hoist and do it the easy way instead of crawling around on the ground like an idiot. I just hate it. So yeah, we can get it up on the hoist. We'll be able to almost stand up under this thing. So bonus. So we'll get those parts ordered, and I'm just going to carry on with finishing off the fenders, get the rest of this thing sanded, masked off, and get her painted. So I'm quite pleased. I thought that suspension was going to give me a lot more grief than that, but yeah, I think it's going to work out just fine. So we're good to go. So pretty happy I don't have to change coil springs and stuff. I guess it was just geometrically not designed properly. It was binding, fighting, the different components were fighting each other. So yeah, I think that panhard bar will do the trick, and new shocks will take care of the excessive bouncing, but there is travel up and down, so it should ride a lot better on the road. So yeah, Facebook, check us out on Facebook, Dirty Dan's Ride the Cycle. Got almost 900 people on there now, and more the merrier, you know, spread the word. If you happen to see this video on Facebook, share it with your buddies, man. You know, I know you got other gearhead buddies. You gotta. Gearheads are like potato chips. You never see just one. And subscribe. hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. I've been getting a fair number of new subscribers lately, so I'd like to keep that trend going and get something happening here, man. So yeah, Model A is moving along real good. I'm back full hard on the pardon the expression, full on the square body Chevy. Get that wrapped up and out of here. And Model A, well, I'll be waiting for some parts anyhow, but I think everything is in stock, should be in fairly quickly. But the way things are today, who knows? I mean, I hear guys all kinds of horror stories about shipping delays and problems and what have you. But it is what it is, man. I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be here. And when the parts come in, we'll get them in. But it's not like I don't have other things to do. I'm jammed, man. I got lots of stuff going on. So yeah, we're just gonna keep after it and get things done and out of here. So if you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.